Are we live?
I think we are live.
Hey everybody, so we are just putting out this SOS because we've currently been kidnapped, and this is the only way to get information out to the outside world. Although no one's joined us yet, so let's give them a couple of minutes. Did someone just text me? No. I thought someone texted me. Is it the messenger? No. Oh, there we go. Someone joined us. Ethos has joined us. Hey, everybody. So we just got out of the Netflix offices.
It's like walking off the bridge of the Enterprise or something.
Yeah, no. I highly recommend, if you want to get a look at the future of the studio system, go visit the streamers. Their offices are, whatever you end up thinking about what you're going to go see, the offices are top notch. I mean, the Netflix one was impressive. They wine and dine super well. We got free coffee. We got free snack. I still have some. I loaded up.
Fig
bars and you got a couple of these.
Put us in a good mood.
Yeah. But what did we go see?
Yeah. No, we. Oh God, I was trying to think of something funny, but I think my brain is just not. No, we saw Noah Baumbach's new film called White Noise, which I walked into knowing nothing about. I didn't even know I was going to be here until yesterday afternoon. I knew nothing about it except it had Adam Driver in it. And I really liked Marriage Story, which came out, 2019,
2019. If you don't recognize the name, Noah Baumbach is famous for these kind of personal movies about family dynamics and relationships. He did Squid and the Whale, Margot at the Wedding. He also did, what else did he do? Oh, well, Marriage Story, as Sebastian just said, which is probably still his most acclaimed film. It was nominated for a bunch of Oscars. And
Adam Driver is also in it.
Adam Driver
does
back.
A great job.
And this actress who's his wife,
Greta Gerwig.
She plays, who's of course famous for being in one of his most famous movies, Frances Ha. She's in this one as well, and it's an adaptation of a Don DeLeo novel from the '80s that won the National Book Award. So it has promise. It has promise to be something interesting. But that was a weird movie.
It was
right. It was strange.
It was exhausting in the wrong kind of way. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes, which it's not a bad runtime, but
if it's a
towards the last
story.
35, 40 minutes, I was checking my watch because I was just like, this movie isn't going anywhere. I don't understand the choices of story beats. It's I think the best word to describe is random. Like, random things are happening, but they're not connected thematically or story-wise or by character motivation.
It's a very random movie. It kind of goes all over the place.
It's like misunderstanding what Buñuel...
Well, it's a lot of sketched ideas, but the sketches aren't complete, right? So the movie's trying to comment on academia and suburbanites and how academics always talk in a very specific kind of academic language. But then it's also about crisis. There's a crisis that happens in the movie where a chemical spill, that's all we're going to say, causes a kind of COVID style crisis. But that doesn't go anywhere.
It's hand waved.
Yes, exactly.
It just stops.
I think it's a classic case of someone who takes a book that's very dense literature and then tries to adapt the book literally to the screen.
And we've talked about that on the podcast, that adaptation, guys, writing screenplays are hard, and if you're going to adapt a book, sometimes being faithful doesn't mean literally adapting word for word.
Yeah.
You have to, as a filmmaker, you have to understand the soul of the book. What is the author going for? How do I take that understanding and then streamline it or flesh out certain bits? Look at, No Country for Old Men, or Lord of the Rings,
or
The Godfather, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was telling you, I mean, this felt like Noah Baumbach's Inherent Vice. Like, he tried... first of all, it felt like a movie that he didn't want to make, as in, it didn't feel like a passion project. Maybe he tricked himself into thinking that, but it felt like, oh man, wouldn't it be so cool if I can adapt this hardcore book into a movie?
Yeah,
and it feels so...
Well, he didn't know
there's
how
no
to...
soul. It feels manufactured, right?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a genuine passion project. It feels like what P.T. Anderson did with Inherent Vice, where he just tries to follow the book line for line as a movie. And that doesn't work. You have to find the movie in the book and turn it into a narrative. Well, actually, this movie actually felt a little too long precisely because he's trying to not cut anything out, right? Like, I'm adapting this book, so I need to include every single chapter.
Which is ironic because it feels incomplete.
Yes, exactly. Well, because what works as literature, books exist in our headspace, right? I think Ebert one time used a nice description when reviewing this movie in The Garden of Good and Evil, which is adapted from a famous book, where he says a novel survives on the oxygen of our imagination, right? You as the reader are providing the oxygen to the book. A movie is a different beast altogether because it's a marriage between our imagination, but we're seeing the imagination of the filmmakers and their crew and their team projected on screen. And in this case, Baumbach is trying so hard to turn every comma and every sentence in the book into a movie that it just turns into a really kind of muddled, overly long, confusing movie. The cast is excellent. Adam Driver is an excellent actor, of course, and Gerwig is of course
Don
fantastic.
Cheadle's in it.
Danny Elfman did the music.
Which was another weird thing. It has this, like, really bombastic score. Like, we're talking about something that could be played over Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
For
a suburban satire,
but like totally inconsistent. Like, that can work well if it I don't know, if it just connects with a movie like not Pain and Glory. What was the last one?
I'm seeing who's joined us. It's my man James Powell right there. James, I keep forgetting to hit him up. I've been so busy. In fact, quite a lot of people lately have wondered where I've disappeared to, just because my schedule's been beyond insane. In fact, tonight's the first time we're doing a Breaking the 180 joint screening in a while. So to James and everyone else, I will get back to you hopefully soon, as soon as I actually get some sleep. But anyway,
Parallel Mothers.
Parallel Mothers.
It also
Parallel
has
Maloa.
quite a big score, but it works with it works.
Oops. Yeah, we just got out of Netflix, so we're in the car.
It works with the film, but this one, I don't know. It just feels like it almost feels like Looney Tunes. There were moments where things are happening. I'm like, what? Like this is like watching Tom and Jerry, and I don't know if that's the intention.
Well, the satire is a very particular thing to do, and if you don't know how to do it, then you don't. Then you should really prep yourself to try doing satire, because there's a fine line in satire between just wacky Looney Tunes comedy and then intelligent jabs at whatever it is that you're satirizing.
Like Death of Stalin, which we were just talking about over dinner.
Great example. That's a really great satire about politics and how politics works. But even I'll throw it out there. The first Zoolander is a pretty funny movie about the fashion world. This one was trying to. Well, okay, if we're talking about suburban stuff, good suburban comedy dramas, American Beauty, right? It works very well because it's so simple, but it is funny and dark and moving at the
like life, right?
Time. Like life itself, the way. But life
it doesn't
goes.
feel tonally inconsistent like this movie.
Yeah, this one's all over the place. I recommend if you check it out, wait for it to stream. It's streaming next month. We saw it today because it's opening this Friday in a couple of select spots, as Netflix usually does. They release some of their movies in select theaters before, because they need them to qualify for the Oscars. So to qualify for the Oscars, they have to play in a couple of theaters for a specific amount of time. before they stream. That's the deal Netflix cut with the Academy and with the theaters. So this one's opening this Friday in a couple of spots. So
on Black Friday. Wow, what a great Black Friday movie to watch, right?
No, well, I mean, no, I'll be watching something else on Black Friday, but it's
All Quiet on the Western Front.
All Quiet on the Western Front is on Netflix. That's another.
Which is one of the best movies of the year, which is 2.5 hours long, but I was in it from the beginning.
No, yeah, it's amazing how movie time is relative in a way. If it's a good movie, it can be 4 hours long. You'll be into it.
War and Peace, right?
One of my favorite movies of all time is 7 hours long, literally. War and Peace by Sergei Bondarchuk, which I highly recommend you check out on the Criterion channel for those looking for something epic to watch. And that goes with the wintry spirit, and in other ways I won't get too into with the global situation right now. But yeah, so time is relative in movies. If it's a good movie, you can easily do 3 hours. If it's a bad movie, an hour and a half can feel like an eternity. And this one doesn't really do it. No. Okay, you know what? Perfect example. Black Panther 2. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
2 hours and 40 minutes. 2 hours and 40 minutes flies by. Very entertaining.
You know what?
Excellent performances, good music.
And as people hopefully might know, we've constantly talked about how the factory formula is just whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what? The reality is something like Black Panther Wakanda Forever has more genuine soul and true thoughts and emotions, genuine emotions coming from characters and a cohesive identity than this does.
Well, but that's the irony. Pop culture, when it works, pop art, let's say, pop art can be just as genuine and just as effective as a prestige, Oscar contender. Of course, the first Black Panther made history by being a big Oscar contender. But pop art has something special in it when it has just as much honesty and storytelling skill as whatever you want to call it, art house, the prestige, indie whatever. And that's why the comparison here is actually very apt. How Black Panther is obviously designed to be a big entertainment.
It's designed to make money, of course.
Yes,
Disney produced it. All this stuff.
Yeah, it's a franchise. It's a huge franchise movie, and yet it's more coherent and engaging thematically than White Noise.
And honest.
Yeah, and it's an honest. Pop art can be very honest. Pop art can be very honest.
I've talked about this all the time. Like when we talk about movies, I think a lot of people make the false assertion that because they didn't personally connect with a movie, that therefore it's shit.
Right.
And I will be the first person to admit that when I understand the power of a movie, that I don't necessarily quite jive with, but I understand how important it is and how special the filmmaking is.
Yeah.
My go-tos, you watch a Tarkovsky movie, I understand if someone watches it and it's like, I didn't connect with it.
Right, like Stalker and
but you
Solaris.
can't say it's shit. Like, objectively,
right.
It feels like it has something to say. It feels meditative.
Yeah, there's movies you don't necessarily, they don't have to become your favorite movies, but you can tell that there was a purpose, that the director was trying to say something. Yeah.
And it's real and it has merit. And
even horror films.
Oh, totally. Like you're talking about Pearl. That Pearl had some great moments in there.
Pearl, it's a genre film. It's part of a horror franchise, and yet it's a very moving film about growing up repressed, growing up in a Puritan environment, and what happens when you break free from that, or when you're trying to break free from it. And it's a slasher movie. I mean, if you were to just describe it in terms of genre, it's a slasher flick. But it's
you
very
know what? I'm
going to
add another one. You want to watch you can consider it a fantastic action movie that, to me, is one of the most important expressions of collective rage that the world is experiencing, especially from marginalized and underrepresented groups. Romain Gavras, the son of Costa Gavras, made a film called Athena.
Oh, yeah,
also on Netflix. Yeah, it's pretty badass. The technical filmmaking will genuinely leave you breathtaking.
It's kind of an action drama, but
you feel the pain and you feel the cries
it's
of the people.
Yeah, it's a very it's a very intelligent also breakdown of the relations between communities in a big urban space, right?
Yeah.
In a big metropolis.
And this one, takes place in France, and this is an Algerian Muslim community. They live in a block, and basically, without giving anything away, because everyone should go see it, the police come knocking at their door.
And you get to know everyone. Like there's like multiple characters, but you get to know a little bit about each one. And you get the point of view of the cops and of the residents in the community. It's an excellent movie, and of course...
while still saying something.
And of course, it's probably a legacy thing, because the director is the son of one of the great political filmmakers of all time, Costa Gavras, so highly recommended, Athena. That's a really good, riveting movie that'll easily pull you in and surprise you a little bit, because you can enjoy it on an action thriller level, if you want to call it that, but on a personal drama level too. It's two things that get married.
There's a word for that. It's layered.
It's a layered
complex
film. Very good layered movie, which White Noise unfortunately was not. Well, everybody, we will be back soon with new episodes. Actually, we have a new one on Black Panther specifically. So if you go on our
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we'd love to hear from you guys. As always, please leave your comments, concerns. Apple
Podcasts. Leave your comments, and
we talk about the very things of the value of pop art, and specifically how we can recommend or discuss films that happen to be part of these large factory franchises. We have a big discussion on that.
Yeah, and how there's merit in a good popcorn movie.
And the power of proper representation. And the impact that we'll have in mainstream arts and all that. So check that out.
Check it out. Black Panther will be also back soon there's a lot to talk about. We got Christmas stuff coming up, holiday stuff coming up. We'll
have a huge end of year wrap up, which will cover as of,
and Michael Mann. So we're continuing our Michael Mann series. That's going to be coming up soon too. Episode 2. Check out episode 1 to catch up. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify right now. And
we might give our thoughts on another underwater movie.
Oh, that's right.
Which I just read on the playlist that according to James Cameron, in order for it to break even, it needs to be the third or fourth highest grossing movie of all time.
Something tells me it will, though. But I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. That's a risk.
What's the engagement level with this?
I don't know. Unless he's trying a subliminal thing, right? Where because he says it, enough people will subconsciously go watch it.
Right.
I mean, it's a James Cameron movie, so
we'll see. Yeah, who knows? We might either see it and we're like, after 3 hours and 15 minutes, we'll be like, wow, I'm going to become an alcoholic.
or
we'll just sit down and we'll be like, look, guys, this movie, one of the put it on an AFI's top 100
religious
movies.
Experience.
Yeah,
religious experience. You never know. So we'll be back soon with the content and all that stuff.
There's a lot between TV and all the Oscar stuff. I mean, TV alone, the new season The Crown in 1899.
It's been a crazy fall so far. I gotta say, I haven't seen that many movies that have become favorites, but it's definitely
Triangle of Sadness was technically an early fall.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's a great one. Check that out at any art house that's playing it. Triangle of Sadness is an amazing
Another one. It's almost 3 hours long, but it's paced so well.
Wow, and it has. You know what? It's a good comparison. That movie does what this one thought it was doing.
Yeah.
In the way it comments on society and the way it dissects the modern world. But yeah, so we've got a lot coming up. And yeah, please stay tuned. Share the page. And I've got a train to catch.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.
This guy's a beamer because he's got the millions. I have to go jump.
I put it in my Cayman Islands account.
I gotta go hop on the train and meet
meet some interesting characters.
More interesting than the movie we just saw.
Damn. All right.
Definitely a train ride through downtown right now is more interesting.
You'll definitely get
more.
You'll get a more entertainment from that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, have a good one, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Also, Chipotle in Hollywood, really good place to check out.